Hello, Finn here, coming to you from downtown Montreal, where we are balls deep in another lockdown, another COVID lockdown, this time paired with a lovely 8 p.m. curfew. And I gotta say, I'm not a fan of either. Not to make light of the pandemic, which has wreaked havoc all throughout the world. Since March of 2020, I have been working in the safety of my own home, here in my downtown loft, and luckily, right before the pandemic hit, I upgraded my home workspace, buying this corner desk that you can see behind me here off of some dude on Craigslist. He had just upgraded his own desk and he was getting rid of this one for like 75 bucks. So for me, it was kind of a steal and it was definitely a step up. So I'm pleased that now I can take myself seriously as a writer because I have a serious workspace at home, a nice home office situation. And along those same lines, I also decided to upgrade my office chair, getting myself this sweet ass new gaming chair that I'm currently parked in. And while it was definitely a much more significant investment than the corner desk that I lucked out in finding, it was worth it for sure. It's got like built-in lumbar support and it's adjustable in multiple ways. You can lean way back in it if you just want to kick back. I would definitely recommend it. Yeah, I was so close to buying their Game of Thrones sort of customized Lannister edition, but it was kind of like this reverse Butterface situation where I really liked the front part of the chair and then I saw the rear end and I was like, you know, that's too much for me. And you know, I like a good booty, so that's kind of saying something. Anyway, I still decided to name my new gaming chair Game of Thrones style. So here, I would like to present to you my new chair, Fart Eater, which I guess you can't really see, but here what I can do is so here's a little clip of me unboxing it in double time. I think that it's really important as a writer that I reward myself whenever I accomplish my goals. So the gaming chair was kind of a big treat for myself because I had recently finished the first draft of my 9th and final novel, The Last Ambit, which is a story about gay space cowboys. I can hear now my new noisy neighbors are back. So I apologize if you hear some laughter in the background. The walls in this building are very thin. It's kind of ridiculous. But I've kind of adjusted to it. I don't really mind. It's kind of like having my own personal laugh track, except that the laughs never come when the jokes are supposed to land. They think it's hilarious. So it's January 2021, and if you're watching this, it means that I must have successfully posted a video, so huzzah! It's been a minute since I've actually uploaded anything to my long-dormant channel. After I successfully managed to post 4 videos back in 2018, the laptop that I was using for all of my film production needs was unexpectedly dispatched by an airplane propeller. Happily, I was able to replace the laptop, but I never really got back into the habit of creating and posting videos. One of my New Year's resolutions for 2021, however, is to kickstart my long stagnant channel, and so here I am. I'm back. New Year's Eve also happens to be my birthday, so I recently turned 41, and I think for me that 41 is going to be a pretty good year, mainly because it leads up to turning 42, which is, from my understanding, when I will finally grasp the answers to the ultimate questions of life, the universe, and everything those dolphins were singing about. I mean, really, what's up with that?
Down to the water. Come to the water. Come to the water. Come to the water. Let down your burden. All your trouble and strife. We're going yonder to a tree of life. We're going. Take my hand.
I'm really dying to know. It's like, no spoilers, please, but come on, what the fuck? My channel here is mainly about fantasy stuff, books mostly, and of those, chiefly the ones that I myself have penned. I am the author of 9 fantasy books, which are more or less at different various stages of completion. I would say the bulk of them are actually still in their first draft phases. And it took me like 20 years to get to this point, so just imagine how many years I have left to finalize all of them. With this video, I am going to try to keep it nice and simple. In fact, my only goal today is really to put an end to this 3-year hiatus on my YouTube channel, to kickstart it again, get back into the habit of posting videos, and to break this long embargo. So, embargo broken. While I am an experienced novelist, I'm still very much a novice vlogger. And while I was only able to post 4 videos on my channel previously, I think that was enough for me to get a sense of just how much time and effort it was going to take to be a dedicated vlogger. I enjoy filmmaking, I really do, but there's a reason why vlogger comes second to author in my branding, which you can see behind me here in my new stylized banner. So let me assure you, even though I have not been uploading videos to my channel for the last 3 years, I have not been idle. In fact, I've been writing quite a bit, and there's been a lot of shit going down in my life even before the pandemic hit. I don't want to bore you too much with the details, but here's a quick breakdown of all the shit that I've been dealing with. Job instability. I've been laid off a couple of times in the past 3 years and even fired once. I have had to jump around from job to job, and I've had a few periods where I was unemployed. In fact, one of them was kind of a blessing in disguise, where I managed to find myself eligible for 7 months of EI benefits, that is employment insurance. So I took a little EI vacation. I'm trying to do finger quotes. I had written the first half of The Last Ambit, and I was really aching to get back to it. And, you know, I didn't want to leave those gay space cowboys hanging. So I got back to it, and I managed to finish what I was calling at that point the second half of the book, but which actually turned out to be much more than that. I think it's more like the last 3/5 of a book or something like that. This book is really quite long, and there's a lot of content, and I might have to trim it down quite a bit significantly unless I want to print it in 2 volumes, which I do not. I kind of knew setting out that it was going to be a big story. I mean, it's the 3rd book in its respective trilogy, and it's also the capstone to the trilogy, so it really has to kind of draw a lot of things together. I didn't really mind that it was going to be a long book, but it turned out to be quite a meandering adventure, let us say. So there might be some bits that I get to cut out. I have to go back to it and see, and I'm not really currently focusing my energies on that. In fact, I have shifted gears entirely from creative writing to editing, which, as you know, if you're a card-carrying member of the Drunk Poet Society as I am, you should always write drunk and edit sober. So now I've pretty much done my 20 years of creative writing. I've entered my 40s. It's time to put aside the frivolities of the composition and get serious with the editing. So I have about a decade, I would say, or more, of dry and sober-ish editing to do. Construction nightmare. In 2017 and 18, my douchebag slumlord, whom I shall now refer to simply by the shorthand douchelord, coined it. He subjected me and my neighbors all to this horrendous construction nightmare, wherein the 2 facades of the building in which we live had to be demolished entirely and then rebuilt from scratch, during which everybody was still living in the building. So they had to come in and build these temporary walls, just on the other side of which was this noisy construction every day, starting at like 7 a.m. And my schedule at the time, I was working a night shift that ended at like 5 a.m. or 5:30, so I wouldn't get to bed till about 6 a.m. It was really impossible for me to get any sleep at home during the work week. While these temporary walls were up, I lost like 6 feet of space, I lost access to my windows, I had no fresh air, no light, so my nice airy beautiful loft got turned into this dingy basement apartment for like 6 or 7 months, while just on the other side of the wall there was this massive construction project underway, and through the winter too, so it was massively inconvenient. And then of course we learned that the douche lord had failed to disclose to all of the tenants that there was asbestos in the building. Of course there is, it's an old ass building. Lawsuit aftermath. Of course, after all of the construction nightmare became the aftermath of the lawsuit, wherein me and my neighbors, well, a few of my neighbors, bravely banded together to bring down a douche lord. So we brought him downtown, down to the courthouse. Actually, we brought him to the Régie du Logement, where we were awarded a nice fat settlement as compensation for having to live through this nightmare in which we really should have all been relocated from the get-go. So that settlement amounted to about 8 or 9 months of free rent for me, so that was kind of nice, but I would much rather have not been subjected to the construction nightmare, which was really quite traumatizing. Despite all this shit going down in the last 3 years, I also managed to write a lot. There was quite a bit of content to get through to wrap up everything by the end of this book, but as always, it was tremendously challenging and immensely rewarding. I find that composing the first draft, laying the foundation, is always the most magical and most dreadful aspect of writing a book. I like to say that when I'm writing a book, it's rather like hosting an unexpected house guest, an old college buddy who loves to party, who's going to crash on your couch for an indefinite amount of time. And of course, you have no choice but to keep partying with him and to roll with it until the entire thing is spent. It's a booze-addled, drug-fueled, wild literary love affair, and it usually ends with my muse sitting on my face, chugging from a bottle of spiced rum. So just let that image sink in for a second. Yep, that's what happens when your muse is Captain Morgan. By the way, write drunk, edit sober is not the official motto of the Drunk Poet Society. Our actual motto is quite wordy, go figure, and it can be found in the description below. But the gist of it is this: to suck out all the marrow of life and chase it with a shot of tequila. So one thing I've had a chance to do recently, as I have reflected on what my goals are as a vlogger, is to reconsider and even reconceptualize my channel. I even had to ask myself at one point if I wanted to keep vlogging. The truth is, I never really managed to get into the habit of posting videos before my old laptop was taken out by that airplane propeller. I still want to post the 4 types of videos that I outlined back in 2018, and I gotta say, I'm so grateful that I got to post at least one of each of those 4 types of videos before my fledgling vlog was taken clear off the rails by having that wrench thrown in my gears, if I can be allowed to mix metaphors. Which, as a writer, I mean, you know, I have poetic license up my ass, so it's true. It was actually one of the built-in features of Fart Eater. Not true. So my plan for 2021 is to post 12 new videos to my channel, 11 after this one. 1 video a month sounds totally reasonable to me. As far as film production, I gotta say that one of the things that was really quite daunting for me trying to come back into vlogging was coming to terms with the fact that I was never going to be able to keep up with posting once a week, which is what I had initially aimed for. But once a month, I think I can probably manage that. I think I can totally swing that. I think I can totally swing once a month. So fingers crossed, let's hope that no more accidents take place and that my laptop, the one that I'm using now, stays relatively safe. So in the days to come, I plan to post to my channel 2 more writing updates, 3 writing tips videos where I just talk about some of the stuff that's worked for me as a writer over the years, 3 monovlogs where I basically just vlog about anything that I want to be raving or ranting about, and also 3 new adventure videos. I'm happy to say that over the last 3 years, I've still managed to have a few adventures, and even though I wasn't really taking the footage at the time with the intention of posting it to the vlog, I think that the footage that I have can easily be converted into some fun adventure videos, so you can look forward to that as well. And now that I've stated my goals of posting 12 videos this year publicly online, I think that I will feel much more compelled to keep my word. So that's it for today. This video on its own might not amount to much, but to me it's a really big deal. Because, as I said, I really just wanted to break the embargo. I wanted to get back into the habit of it. And I determined that, honestly, the only way that I was really going to know if I want to be a vlogger or not is to do it, is to be composing and posting videos, going through the whole process from pre-production to post-production, and finding my voice as a novice vlogger and moving on from there. I'm in the habit of giving myself 5 New Year's resolutions every year. And some of these are holdovers from previous years, things like get fit, lose weight, be more social. Of course, that doesn't really fly during a pandemic. And, you know, finish book or whatever. one of my major goals this year, of course, is to kickstart the vlog. I fell off of the proverbial horse, but now I'm back in the saddle. Yeehaw! This is Finn Skardahl, scribe, scribbler, and occasional imbiber, saying stay safe, stay sane if you're dealing with things like lockdowns and curfews, such as we are here in Montreal, and right on.